Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This episode's special because it's my 1 year anniversary of playing Scum. I have a lot to cover in this video. I'm going to try to be as fast as possible. It's going to get kind of heavy towards the end, but I'll save that for the end for those of you that are not interested in that kind of thing. So let's go with the meat and potatoes right now. First things first, my subscribers. I love you guys. You guys are great. I thank you all that have spent so many hours and so much time on my channel from the very beginning. You guys have stuck with me, and it's really awesome. It's really cool to experience. For some of you newer members, I really appreciate you. The new people that have subscribed in the last week or two, this is fantastic. It's exciting. I appreciate every one of you, and I thank you so much. I appreciate every subscriber I have, every view that I get, every thumbs up I get, and every comment I get. It really does mean a lot, and it's just really valuable to me. Now, my last video I did with the channel update, I mentioned to you guys that I wasn't going to be doing any Scum videos until 0.7 came out, and now 0.7 came out. And I'm hoping that if you've seen the latest series, or the latest season of Scum that I've been doing, hopefully a little bit will make sense of why I had to take a break. Right? There was personal reasons and everything else, but I'm really hoping that you guys see that the quality and production value of what I'm doing is much greater than it was before. I have a lot to learn. There's more to do, but you know, the night is still young, so to speak, right? But I just wanted to start fresh with the new season with some of these ideas. My first videos kind of are on this level as far as concepts, but I didn't really have the video editing skills. There was a lot of stuff I had to do. I was using some music that was copywritten and everything, which it wasn't right for me to do, and I was trying to edit it and do certain things and try to pick obscure stuff, but it wasn't the right thing to do. So, and I stopped doing that within a few videos, and I just kind of went more direct playthroughs. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to bring something a little bit different and more production based, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying that. But with that, with this this new season, I'm trying to do everything like as a role play kind of. I don't want to break the fourth wall type of a thing. I'm just trying to do something a little different than other people that are doing Scum videos. If there's someone who's doing something similar, I apologize. I don't know, but everyone else seems to be doing more like just a different format. But because of that, I figured there's probably a lot of things I could answer in this video that maybe you aren't aware of when I'm doing those playthroughs. So let me address a couple of those. The first things first, I'm just playing on a vanilla single player server. I don't have enough money right now to rent my own server and do all these fancy settings and everything like that. I'm just playing how the game is meant to be played on a single player server, and that's the way it is. Multiplayer, I enjoy playing with my friends. It's awesome, it's great, but trying to do videos is hard. Maybe anyone else would have a different answer. Just me personally, the hard problem I have is really based around time and the energy to spend trying to edit a video with multiplayer, a lot of things going on. In other words, let me try to rephrase it, that the videos I was doing last season were about 15 to 20 minutes, and I thought it had to do with upload times. It's kind of a complicated thing. I resolved now to go to 30 minutes, and if it's warranted in a video, maybe like 45 minutes. I don't ever see myself being the kind of guy to upload a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour video. It's just not what I'm going to do. And I don't really see how doing multiplayer I would do anything less without sacrificing actual game time. And I have other stuff going on too, which I'll mention later. So sorry to anyone that wants to see multiplayer. I'm just not going to do it with this season. Again, maybe if I get rich and win the lottery and I have all the time to sit around and do that, I'm sure. But at this point, I'm not going to do that. Okay, the next one is I'm playing pretty much exclusively in first-person view. I think it makes the game a little bit more difficult, way more realistic. The exceptions I'm making, which should be obvious in the videos, is when it comes to travel scenes. I think it looks a little better. It gives the video a little bit of time to breathe. You guys can see the clothes I'm wearing and what the condition of what I have more or less is. And if it was like let's say if I was driving a motorcycle, trying to do it in first person is just nauseating. It doesn't look good. So it's kind of what my strategy is with that right now. But just to let you know, as I'm playing the game, I'm actually doing it mostly in first person. The next one is I'm not using the map at all. Spoiler alert for any of you that haven't seen it. In one of my early videos, I get lost, and that's genuine. I'm actually lost. There's no light. I could barely see, and I zigged when I should have zagged type of a thing. And that was really fun. It makes the game so much more challenging not knowing exactly where I'm going. But let's be fair, I've been playing this for quite a bit, and I do understand where generally most things are, or I have a really good grasp of a lot of it. But that doesn't mean I know every little inch of that map, especially in the dark. So I think it's adding a whole new level and a whole new challenge, which I think is fun. My videos are a slow burn. You're not going to get a bunch of tons of action in one video. It's not what this is about or what I'm aiming to do. The more exciting I can make it, the better. But not every episode is going to be like that, right? And so also doing it as in character, I'm trying to approach things as realistically as possible. So let's say, for example, I'm not sure if it even applies to any of the videos I've shown so far, but like, let's say you're on a main road and there's a dirt road on the side. If you really realistically landed on an island and you're starving and your feet are hurting and you're dehydrated, what do you think is the better option? And I don't know. I mean, you'd have to answer this, right? But is it better to go down the main road with the hope of finding maybe a town or something? Or would you take some back dirt road? I can't answer that for you, but I would say 9 out of 10 times I would take the main road. Even if I know as a player, like, you know, in the other dimension, right, in the real dimension, that there might be a military bunker or something valuable. So if you get frustrated with some of the decisions I make, just try to understand I'm trying to do it as realistically as possible. And that also addresses some of the other things, like I didn't really get to show you guys the character build or anything or what my stats exactly are in that. But I built my character more or less how I am and what my capabilities are as a person. One a bit of a mistake I made that was on my engineering, and I didn't really, and I don't know if it's engineering or survival. I haven't figured that one out yet. But for example, I cannot make a simple bow and arrow. I don't know why. I just can't do it. So anyway, little things like that. If you're frustrated with, just please understand there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing in this series. And so I hope you guys just kind of know that it's a little bit, again, of a slower type of gameplay that I'm doing with this. The next one is PermaDeath. So I'm a kind of person who likes to prepare, and I like to think things through, but I'm not a control freak. I also have a strong element of me who likes to just ride the wave. And I have conceived of this idea of how I wanted to do this series almost a year ago. And now that I'm executing it, it's cool, but the one thing I didn't really think about is what would happen if my character had perished too soon. And spoiler alert again, I may have run into that problem early in the series. I think I found a decent way to kind of buffer that, and I hope you guys enjoyed that if you've seen it. But from now on, there's no resurrecting a character. So what that means is that the first character is as close as possible to me, and then I have some new ideas for some other characters, things I kind of want to do. With that in mind, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. If you have some kind of a concept. Again, I already have a couple of ideas of what I want to do and what I'm capable of doing. I definitely am interested in your feedback. Doesn't mean that I can do it or I can take it into consideration, or I will. So it's nothing personal. There could be 1,000 reasons why I can't do it. So, but again, I'm definitely willing to look at it if you have an interesting idea. And I think that pretty much wraps up that part of the thing. And something else I want to repeat. Maybe I'll say it 2 or 3 times in this video. So now I'm adding my own music, and it's a little bit more production based. And when I did these videos, it's definitely to present them and to entertain you. But understand that a lot of it is a challenge for me too. That part of it is just I want to learn how to do video editing and get as good as I can, just for whatever reason. For a hobby, maybe I can get paid for it at some point in life. Who knows how it works. But so there's a lot of experimentation and stuff. And now I'm going to be adding, not in every video, obviously, but I'm going to be adding my own music and writing more custom things for the videos. And that being said, what I'm really getting at is quality over quantity. So as it stands right now, I'm doing more or less like 2 videos a week. I can pretty much guarantee you that will not sustain itself. I have a lot of personal things coming up that it's going to require more of my time. And so there's that. And now I'm going to get into a little bit more of the 1-year anniversary type stuff with this. Now, I don't want to cover too much old ground for those of you that stuck with me and keep hearing the same old stories and over and over. So let me just be as brief as possible. This channel has had many different iterations in it. I think it was in my last channel update, I kind of go over this, where I basically am talking about this channel used to be about art and music and some life stories and a little bit of like philosophical stuff that was on my mind. However, I migrated a lot of those videos over to my Rumble channel. Link is below. I know it's not for everybody. I split the 2 channels for a couple of reasons, but mostly because I wanted to keep this one as a gaming channel. However, you may notice there's a few videos on there that are not gaming related. The 2 probably main ones in question is one's titled "What is the Worst?" and the other one is called "What Happened and Where I'm At." That kind of will illustrate a little bit of the mental space that I was in about a year ago. And again, if you don't not interested in that type of stuff, I understand. But it kind of fleshes out a little bit more of where I come from and my approach to this game and just kind of what it means to me. But for those of you that don't want to go back and watch it, let's just say I was kind of undergoing some hardship and I was having some financial issues. And I don't get into like social and political stuff on this channel. I try to avoid as much as possible. But I have to mention this in general, that the things have been difficult, let's say that, for a lot of us globally, right? And I didn't know what the future was going to bring. And I had left my apartment, was gone for a little while, came back thinking I was going to lose my apartment and end up homeless in a month or 2. And luckily it didn't happen. I got a job. But I still felt really unstable. Like I didn't really trust how long my situation would last. And I didn't really unpack any of my stuff. And it was kind of a weird time. But it wasn't like I just wanted to just go to work and then come home and then, just stare at the walls. So I decided I'd start gaming again. And at the time, I think the game I was playing was Conan Exiles, which is another survival type game. And it was fun. I have nothing bad to say about it other than I personally hit a wall, and what I used to think was fun about it started to get really stale. However, I wanted to keep doing it like a survival type, slower paced game, because a lot of times, honestly, I like to listen to like podcasts and stuff while I'm gaming, and I'm not necessarily all into like the high impact stuff. So I started looking at other games, and I looked at your typical like DayZ or Deadside and other options. And then I found Scum. I thought it was interesting. And I hate to say it, but the fact of the matter is it's true. The thing that sold me on it was the peeing and pooping and the metabolism. Because I've always thought as a young kid, like watching zombie movies and stuff, like that's a factor that no one ever talks about in movies. But, if you're not eating right or drinking too much water or whatever, and you're backed up or flushing yourself out, that's a major, major factor in a survival situation. And you can ask anyone who's ever been like in combat situations for long periods of time. If you're eating MREs all day, you might be having some problems, and that's something that you have to address and work around. And so the realism of that really was appealing to me. Now, here's where I think it's kind of something I haven't discussed before, which it means a lot to me, is that the state of mind that I was in, again, you can watch those other previously mentioned videos I had talked about to give you a little bit of an idea of the sort of the situational thing. But mentally and emotionally, I was worn out as a person, and I wasn't afraid. I'm a faithful person. I don't push my religion or nothing like that, but I'm a faithful person in God. So I knew things would be the way they needed to be. But I just I've done so much in my life, and I just kind of was burned out, and just my only goal was just to get up, eat, have a place to live, do really simple things. And, just my mind was blown by the fact of how similar it was to playing this new game Scum. And then in addition to the fact that, like, at least in the iterations when I was first playing, it was raining like all the time in the game. There was a lot of fog and everything. And like I said, it was a year ago since I started playing, which was April. And where I am locally, there just coincidentally happened to be a lot of rain and everything, and it just puts me in a really good mood. I have a narcoleptic condition where I have these, my dream cycle is kind of weird, and my mind goes in some weird directions, especially when it's raining outside, because it kind of keeps me in a sleep state of mind, 24/7. It's really weird. But there was this magical moment because I was looking at some other art videos and I discovered this concept which I've always understood, but I didn't know the definition of it, when it was like this thing called liminal space, which is a transition between 2 points. And that's a whole other thing which, if you guys are interested, I'd like to talk about it, maybe on my Rumble channel or something, maybe here if you guys are interested. But it put me in this whole thing of being aware of a lot of things that were going on in my life and mentally, like internally. In addition to the fact that I started listening to a lot of 80s synthwave on YouTube, like those, synthwave channels. And this combination of that music, that state of mind, with this being cognizant of the liminal space type ideas, it raining outside, me trying to survive as a person, and the Scum game was just a particularly magical time for me. And it just helped push me through a particular point in my life that I wouldn't say was difficult, but I didn't really know if I could find any real depth and meaning. And all of a sudden, I'm swimming in this incredible experience. Then in June, I got the job where I have now, and I've been pretty stable. So roughly in about September, I finally decided to unpack my music equipment and start working on some stuff. And again, some of this will make more sense if you watch those other videos, but the thing is that I decided to kind of finish a project that I was working on for about 2 years. And essentially it's this. In about 2012, roughly 2013, I started working on a bunch of music, or some of it was re-recording a couple of old songs that I had. And it's a whole other long story about I had stuff stolen from me years ago and everything. But so I had written over about 50 songs, and I decided to sort of remaster them and just kind of produce them in a much more consistent level with each other. And that project was 2 years. And I'm proud to say that I completed it in late January of this year. And in those other videos, it's so funny because I was just watching the what happened and where I'm at type video just now before I posted this or started recording this, to kind of remember what I was talking about. And it's funny because if you watch these two videos back to back, you won't get a sense of how much time has gone by or how much difference, because it seems like it's like a seamless thing. But I avoided my art stuff for a long time, but it's funny because in that video I mentioned that I might pick it up. And I'm proud to say that I finally have hit a point where I'm not saying I'm not confident in the direction of the world. Again, I'm trying to tread lightly on social topics and stuff like that. But let's just say that, there's some crazy stuff going on that seems kind of unstable. I'm not worried and I'm not afraid. But growing up in the 80s, you kind of have this sense of things that, I don't know, at least for me, a lot of people I know, you kind of have a sense of survival. And there came a point where I thought in recent, month or so where, what if this is the end? What if this is the beginning of the end? You can only prepare so much and do so many things. I think at this point, I'm as comfortable as it's going to get and as prepared as I can be, especially at my age. And now it's time to just live my life and have the best time that I can. And that kind of sparked my commitment to finishing my art series Transmissions. In fact, I plan on adding about 2 or 3 paintings. We'll see how this all happens, but that's my goal. I'm really excited to announce that. It may not interest a lot of you guys out there, but it does apply to my gaming series, because going back to the music thing, I'm in a kind of sort of a new territory here, because I spent so many years recording new material that a lot of it was based off of older songs, or a lot of concepts I'd had for a long time writing music since I was like 14 years old. And then remastering that stuff for 2 years. And I've learned a lot in that process of how to do that, because I try not to get too much into the production stuff, but I finally reached a point where I think I've done enough of proving myself in the sense of the punk rock or rock type raw sound. and it's okay for me to do a little bit more production-based work. But I'm inspired because I do plan on doing some shorter songs for my Scum videos. But beyond that, I'm in a new territory of writing a whole new series of longer songs. And that I've been confronted with that idea, which is weird because I have to get my head in a whole different space and start to focus a lot differently. And the same goes for the art stuff, because I put myself in a really creative spot, but it's also extraordinarily time consuming to paint certain sections, and there's just a lot going into it. In addition to the fact that my job, I'm so grateful unto God that I have this job, but it is very stressful mentally. And with my narcoleptic condition, basically the kind of way it plays out is once my mind rests for a little bit, there's a serious chance that I start to go into a sleep mode, and sometimes I cannot stay awake. And so it affects my life because things have been kind of like more hectic. We're entering the really busy season right now, so it's been hard for me to just come home and not go to sleep. And that kind of affects my time. So I'm having to manage a lot of stuff with everything. I'm grateful that I, have the skills to paint, do art stuff, that I can do music, and I can do this video editing. And all of it is just, it's an expression of myself. But there's that big part of me that I want to give to the world. I want to share to the world. And again, I know that maybe you guys are watching these gaming videos and this other stuff doesn't mean anything. But the reason why I'm mentioning it in this is because it does affect the time limits that I have. Right now, to be honest with you, as it stands, I'm only really able to play Scum on Sundays. And I might have to start thinking about other time management options. But this has been a fun journey. I've met some really cool people. I'm talking about you, Chad and Dodgy, and, and other folks out there. I mean, it's been really cool. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, but just understand that I'm really busy and I'm excited, and I feel like there's a lot of new horizons, and it's good to feel motivated again and really passionate. But to reiterate though too, a lot of that stuff I'm going to end up posting on Rumble, and I still have a lot more to go. There's a lot of old videos or older topics that I still have to post, and I've been negligent on that channel too. I think I haven't posted anything in like 5 or 6 weeks. I need to kind of focus on that too. And it's not even so much that even if I'm not really recording a new video, if I'm just posting something older, it still takes like 2 or 3 hours to upload, which kind of limits what I can do on my computer at that time. So everything's just, time consuming, a lot of work, but I'm very happy. I'm optimistic. I really hope you guys are enjoying the new season of Scum. I have a lot more to offer, I hope, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Until next time, bye-bye.